So Ant-Man 3 is really bad. This is one of the worst reviewed Marvel films ever, and I'm here to jump on the pile. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is about the whole Ant family getting sucked into the quantum realm and confronting a foe they did not foresee. Now, look, I didn't see Ant-Man 2. I meant to, but it just didn't happen, so if I missed something, that's why. But with a hype around Kang, I was pretty interested in seeing this one. But unfortunately, this is one of the more annoying types of bad movies in the sense that I actually think the first 10 minutes are really good. So after Endgame, Ant-Man helped save the world, but since then he's become even more self-absorbed. All he's done is write this autobiography and be in love with himself, and it's really funny, and it's an interesting place to start with this character, because while professionally he's excelled, personally he stalled. Meanwhile, his daughter Cassie is getting arrested for protesting, and it's setting up a really interesting conflict. Like, for Cassie, actual justice isn't just about stopping the world from being destroyed, it's about enacting social change to help those in need. And I thought this was really smart, because it's like, here, after saving the world, Ant-Man has gotten too big for his boots. His arc can be about how he needs to go small and really learn how being a hero is actually about helping in the smallest ways as well. You know, what better hero to have that arc and emphasize that message than Ant-Man? And what better way to do it than to make them explore that idea in the smallest place possible, the quantum realm. But no, it's not actually about that. Ant-Man just has to be super again and defeat the big bad guys so he doesn't destroy the universe. This movie is like the 31st Marvel film. I'm not asking them to reinvent the wheel here, but Jesus, just something different would be nice. The second this film enters the quantum realm, it just completely falls apart. Firstly, it looks terrible. It's dated already, and it's made so much worse having seen the incredible work in Avatar 2 at the end of last year. This movie feels like watching a bunch of actors standing on a soundstage. I'm sick of the CGI suits and the zap-on, zap-off helmets. Like, I get why they do it, but it just doesn't look good. But the worst part isn't even just that the VFX doesn't look real. The entire world is so ugly and uninteresting. It's just a whole bunch of random stuff. There's nothing actually interesting about any of it. There's no depth. Like, what is the point of them spending all this money and working all these VFX artists to death to explore a world that is so much less interesting than our own? The other problem is the whole design of it doesn't complement Ant-Man's powers at all. Ant-Man is a hero that really only works properly in film because it's only in there you can really show the scale behind him. Half the fun of this character is making him tiny relative to everything else, but there's just so little in the design of this to really play with size. There's one scene where both him and his daughter are supposed to be really big, but the way that they shot it, it just looks like they're regular sized. It's just a complete waste. And while all these problems are a shame, you could get past it if the story here was really something. But no, this script is awful. There are just way too many characters who contribute barely anything to the film other than dumping exposition. Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and Michelle Pfeiffer all run around together, and God, every time it cut to their story, it drove me insane. Every scene is literally Michelle Pfeiffer going, "I don't have time to explain," or "I can't tell you." And it's so frustrating because there's plenty of time to explain and everyone would be so much better off if you did. I think they were trying to make Kang seem scarier and intimidating by having them talk this way, but it just didn't really work. Especially because we've seen him in Loki. To me, it felt like here was the perfect opportunity to spend more time with Kang, really develop his character. And I wish we got more of that because he really was the best part of this movie, but that's not really high praise at all. Jonathan Majors is a fantastic actor, but if I'm honest, I don't think there's really anything about how he's written in his movie that makes Kang that interesting. Like, if this was the only film with him in it, I really don't think there'd be that much hype around him. I feel like a lot about what's compelling is the fact we know he's going to be the villain in future Marvel films and he'll actually mean something rather than anything that's actually here on its own. And so the result is this film just feels like homework. It's just set up for another film. This movie doesn't actually do anything interesting on its own. You've seen all of this before. Kang threatens Ant-Man and is like, "Oh, do this thing or it'll harm someone you love." And it's like, come on, give him an actual ethical dilemma or a choice. It's so bland. Even when they do something right with Kang, they throw MODOK in as another villain, and he's just annoying. He doesn't fit with the tone of the rest of the movie. Some of the lines he have are just bafflingly bad. Watching this film made me so sad that we never got to see Edgar Wright's Ant-Man film, because that really would have been something. Like the dutiful little film nerd I am, I will go see the next one of these that come out, but every time it's with increasingly less enthusiasm. I'd give this a strong 3.